Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Thoughts of a Rambling Mind. As you know, I only make videos when I find something intriguing, and of course, I'm intrigued. In 2021, Shawn Porter and Terrence Crawford were scheduled for a highly anticipated fight. This fight was severely significant to the legacy of Terrence Bud Crawford because he was trying to validate his demands and assert his worth and value to the boxing world. All those who truly know boxing understand the accolades and the accomplishments that Terrence Crawford has had. However, because of the business of boxing, these are not translating or haven't been translating to dollars in his career. Compounding that fact, Terrence Crawford has been questioned because of the level of his opposition. Even the notable names in his history have asterisks next to their names, whether it be political, business, or them just being a battered fighter, leading up to the Shawn Porter fight. Everyone in boxing describes Shawn Porter as a credible fighter, a solid fighter, a fighter who's going to bring that work, and a fighter who will not be influenced by outside forces. So this led up to the most anticipated fight for me in 2021 in order for us to truly see what Terrence Crawford was made of. And it also led to the most disappointing moment in 2021. So what happened? What would make a father throw in the towel on his champion son? A son that is fighting possibly his final fight in an illustrious career. A son, he's watched his son go through the wars. He's watched his son be knocked down before, multiple times. This guy doesn't have a knockout on his record. All of these things would keep you and prevent you, even past common sense, even past popular opinion. It would allow you to hold on and give your fighter a chance. So what happened?
Yeah, Shawn's a little bit more versatile than I think people might give him credit for. He switched up against Ugas, who's a big, tall welterweight, and actually showed us some really great movement, like he's doing right now. So right now, Porter's really keeping his hands up and in more because Errol Spence is starting to land and really good body shots, and they're starting to take effect.
Sums up, and it went from, you know what I mean, me being good all through camp to, you know, then it was like a week here or there and through camp where it was like, ooh, you know what I mean? It became a daily thing in and out of camp where I'm like, yo, what's going on? Of course, out of camp, not fighting so much, especially in the last couple of years of my career, it was like, well, you don't need to go get a massage, you know, or I was just delaying going to get the massage. And then it turned into a thing where it was hard for me to sleep at night. I'm like, I can only lay on one side. I lay on my left side a little too long, and it's like, I can't sleep. I'm up at night, you know? And 2020, we weren't getting ready for anything, you know, but hoping that something would come. And she's like, hey, before you get ready for the next fight, why don't you go get your hip looked at? I was like, nah, I'm good. She's like, no, you've been complaining about this for a long time. Go get it looked at. And when I went to go get my hip looked at, they x-rayed it. The first doctor I saw, I'm not going to say his name, but when he came in to the waiting room to see me, this is a true story. He comes in, doesn't know who I am. He says, Shawn Porter. He says, what do you do for a living? I said, I'm a boxer. He says, that all you do? I said, well, I mean, I'm doing some commentary work now, you know?
Wow.
He says, how's the commentary going for you? I said, well, I do pretty good at that. I would say try to get the most you can out of the next year, 2 years. He says, after that, then you should go into commentary full time. So the hip that is really bad is the hip that's on the right. I have what they describe to me as bone spurs. And what they told me is that your body, when it senses that something's wrong, your body is smart enough to understand what needs to happen in order to fix what's wrong. And so my hip created these bone spurs, basically because of the range of motion wasn't correct, and because there was so much pounding on the hip joint. And of course, they are recommending I get both hips replaced. The right hip, of course, I have more time. I can essentially do whatever I want to do with the right hip, but the left hip needs immediate attention. 2020 is when I found out. And I took the information to my dad. It was right before we fought for Mella. So I record everything. The reason why I record everything is because I know that I won't be able to say exactly what was said and how it was said. I told my dad about it. I said, listen, I want to show you what I just did, and I want you to hear what was said. And my dad was listening. When it ends, I grab my phone. I said, so that's basically what I'm dealing with. And I look at my dad. My dad's looking down at the x-ray. He says, he looks up at me, he said, you had a pretty good career. I was like, yeah. He says, well, let me ask you, like, how many more fights do you want to have? And I told him, I said, Dad, I'm going to be honest with you. I thought that Errol Spence was going to be my last fight. But I'm still here. I still want to fight. And you know the fight that I want. He says, all right, well, what we're going to do is we're going to stop running. We'll start doing more bike work, and we'll do more swimming. I bike, I run, I swim. I mean, the list is long of everything that I do, track, work, all of that. And he wanted to cut all of that out and in preparation for this Formella fight. And not, of course, not knowing how it was gonna go, we knew what we had in front of us. Yeah. So I think that felt like it gave my dad enough wiggle room to at least see what could happen. And of course, we performed well, and they're like, okay, how can I get the most out of this hip until I'm ready to be done with this? And so once I got that Terrence Crawford fight, I was like, boom, I'm in there. I was like, after the Terrence Crawford fight, I'm gonna go talk to the doctor.
I plan on stopping it going into the fight. Already knew this.
Okay. He didn't prepare like I wanted him to prepare. So that's just, that just makes me say, you know what? I don't want him in that situation. He fought a great fighter. The guy is super sharp, and he's at a deficit. It's like fighting this guy blindfolded when you're in a deficit like that. So I wasn't gonna let that happen to him.
He alluded to me not preparing for Terrence Crawford the way that I should have. This is the first time in my entire life that my dad told me to do something and I said, I'm not doing that.
Proud of you, Mike.
It's not, so that's the first time that that's ever happened in the career of us fighting, boxing, father and son, the whole nine, ever, like literally ever. And you will hear my dad say, I knew that this was gonna happen tonight. I knew I was gonna have to throw in the towel. My dad has never had me say no. And so when that started to happen in camp, because of my personal decisions, I felt like, you know what, I'm gonna need everything I got going to the ring. And today you want me to do X, Y, Z. I'm not feeling it.
If I saw what I saw, that was my plan.
These are my thoughts of a rambling mind. Like, share, subscribe. Drop a comment down in the comment section. I read and respond to all comments. And I'm out.